I got everyone's homework. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing today. We're kind of slowly making our way to the point where I feel like you guys will have enough knowledge to be able to make a game. We're still at this point where you're missing a lot of the basic components that you need to make a game, right? Like, it'd be awesome if I could just throw you a topic and you guys could just spend like 6 weeks making a game by itself. But I kind of want to empower you guys to have all these little tools in your toolkit, so when you're given that task, you can just kind of make whatever you kind of want. So one of the things is that we still haven't learned all the pieces of Playmaker, which is what global variables are going to be discussed today, as well as just teaching a little bit more about how things like doors, like specifically locked doors, work. And it's a locked door that I'm using as an example, but really it means a lot more than that. Like, there's examples of doors all over in games. Like Skyrim has treasure chests, right? A treasure chest that's locked is nothing more than the same thing as a door. Just the only difference is that a treasure chest usually gives you something like treasure when it opens, but a door usually just opens, right? You have doors that require keys, obviously. Bioshock gates your progress through doors with locks, only the lock here is Elizabeth. It's not actually a physical key that you have to get. You literally just walk up there and Elizabeth does a little animation and unlocks it. Which is a great way to make her feel like she's a part of your team, which I thought was really cool. Anyone played Bioshock Infinite? Yeah, it's a good game. It's kind of funny because Bioshock Infinite and The Last of Us kind of came around the same time. If you guys ever played Last of Us, it's a great game as well. Here's why I think there's a lot of reasons why those games are great, but it's a shame because up to that point, a lot of games tried to do the whole like, hey, I have a partner that is following me, and they really did it poorly because a lot of times that partner is someone that you have to protect, right? That partner can die. You have to escort that person somewhere. That person kind of gets into fights when they shouldn't. That person draws aggro. It just gets to be a point where like the game becomes frustrating because you feel like you don't have any control over whether or not you do well because it's all up to that partner. So if you notice in Bioshock and in The Last of Us, Elizabeth and Ellie, I think in Last of Us, right? So they both they're invincible, so neither of them can die. They don't aggro enemies, so enemies don't have any idea that they're there. So like, there's no chance of you getting discovered by them. Also, they do useful things for you, which is funny because both games kind of came to the same conclusion by themselves, which is that if we follow those rules, then the player feels like they're not a detriment to the team. In fact, they're more of an asset. There's something that helps them along. Like in Bioshock, Elizabeth tosses you ammo and health packs when you need it, or like coins when she finds it. So it just becomes like, oh, she's basically a walking treasure goblin. Like she pops me items when I need them. And Ellie in Last of Us, she like will stab zombies if they get on you, or she'll save you sometimes otherwise. So I thought it was really cool, and it's just something that's I feel like this trend will probably continue for Last of Us 2 if they end up making it, or the next Bioshock if they ever. I don't know if there will ever be another Bioshock, to be honest, considering that Irrational Studios get shut down. So we'll see if that ends up happening on Kickstarter. But I thought it was just cool because this kind of thing is just one aspect of why Elizabeth is useful. Other things that are doors, like an actual door. This is like Doom 2. My first experience with like real like FPS shooting that had mechanics in it for doors. Can you guys tell what I need to open this door? I need the red key, and they put like the little red skull on the side. It's super, super simple mechanic. That's basically what Doom was. It was like they had 3 colored keys. It was red. The slots for them were right here. These 3 right here. It was red, green, and blue. And the levels first started off with, oh, just find the red key. Once you find the red key, the exit's on the other side. The later levels were like, find the red key to get to be able to find the blue key, which lets you find the green key, which then lets you get to the exit, right? So they have like a 3-key mechanic in a lot of cases, and that's basically the majority of the puzzling gameplay. That's what makes this like a hybrid kind of puzzle / FPS game. The level design was really cool in this because they weren't like limited by what's considered like realistic. They had hidden walls everywhere. They had things instantly appear out of the ground, and it was really kind of a weird world where it was kind of magical in a way because they basically had a wall you just go up to, you interact with the wall, and the wall will just like slide away. It looks nothing like something that you can interact. Well, nowadays you would have like a crack in the wall or something to tell you that that wall had something behind it. This game kind of expects you to literally hug the wall, spamming the interact button to try to find the hidden passageways, or like a friend told you where a hidden passageway was. And it's kind of cool. You can't really get away with that nowadays, but I think it's kind of neat that they're able to do that. So let's talk specifically about doors. Like there's a Link to the Past. This game was just run, speed run for Summer Games Done Quick, or yeah, SGDQ 2015. Anyone know what that is? That door?
Boss.
It's a boss door, right? So what do you need to open a boss door?
Big key.
The big key, right? So here's the thing. What happens when you walk up to it without the big key?
It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, well, it tells you dialogue or something saying like, hey, you need the big key, this door is not passable, right? So I'd like to reproduce this scenario today. I'd like to basically make a door that behaves the same way, where you walk up to this door and it doesn't do anything normally. If you find like the key, then you grab it and then you can unlock the door. So it's going to require a little bit of different pieces that we need. We need first the character, so we're going to make a different kind of character today. We're going to use the built-in Unity 5 third-person character. So if you haven't gotten Unity 5 yet, go ahead and download it from Zool. You should have it, make sure it runs, because we're going to be needing it today. We're going to make a door. A door is actually not any different normally than a moving platform. You guys have already done this. You go into a trigger and you make a platform go up. That's a door. But in this case, it's going to be locked, and you're going to need something to actually unlock it. So we're basically going to talk about how you track that kind of information, because in order for you to know that you have the key, you need to store that information somewhere, right? There's going to be a key that you physically pick up, but here, look at this little top bar in Link to the Past. It kind of tells you some information. So if you look here, it's like, hey, I have 48 rupees, 0 bombs, 5 arrows, 0 keys, and 3 hearts out of 4, right? All those pieces of information are things that anything in the game kind of can use, right? Like rupees. This is a good example. Like you pick up a rupee in the world, Link has 48 rupees, but if you go to like a shop, right, and you try to buy something, the shopkeeper basically takes the rupees from you. So he's allowed to take the rupees, but he also knows whether you have enough rupees or not to actually buy an item. Same with hearts, right? If you lose all your hearts, you die. So enemies, when they hit you, they're allowed to take away your hearts. So it's kind of a weird situation. When we use variables, last week we used them for moving the character around. We had like, hey, I pushed a direction on the keyboard, and it stored that direction in a variable. Now I need to store whether I have a key or not in a variable. The only difference is that that key that I have, it has to be used everywhere. Like the door has to know that I have a key or not. The key itself has to tell me when I pick it up that, hey, you have 1 extra key. So that when Link gets a key, he can like do his little animation and walk into the door. And then now I have 1 extra key in my inventory. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing a little bit more with variables, specifically global variables, so that we're going to be able to track information across multiple objects in Unity, because both the door and the key itself needs to know. All right. So first things first, I'm going to go over how to make a character and a door and a key, and then I'll give you guys the lab, and then you can do the lab, and we have one more piece of it. So I kind of want to talk through it a little bit first. Let me put the labs up on Zool as well. So we're going to start off with doors, then we're going to move into the actual key pickup. And let me restart the recording so everyone can see.